Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, November 24th, 2017. My name is Rich, and joining me this week is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, man, and a happy Thanksgiving to all of our U.S. listeners. I hope you guys had a very safe and festive time.
That's right. Those will be coming out after Thanksgiving, so everyone's, trying to recover from their turkey, and almost better than the turkey dinner is the next day turkey sandwiches. Is it just me?
I mean, I don't know, bro. I'm kind of known in my family as, I'm maybe half the size of everybody else in my family, and I could probably eat about 3 times more than them, and all I gotta say is there's not gonna be any turkey left on that thing. We're gonna destroy it.
I suppose it's been a while. I don't do the big Thanksgiving dinners anymore. All my kids have moved out practically. I've got one kid left at home. There's just 3 of us.
Oh, that countdown's in the back of your head. You're like, 4 more years.
Almost there.
Like that.
Almost there. Yeah, the youngest one's in middle school, so we're getting there. Yeah, you're packing away the food because you're working out like a maniac lately. Like, what's going on? How's your training regimen going?
I'm good, man. I mean, I worked out 3 hours today, and I've been doing dead hangs and stuff. Rock climbing gym's closed this week, so none of that. But, I'm good. The problem is, I always get all these back pains and all these other things, and I just have to, it's kind of, tough through it, but at the same time, don't get hurt. So it's kind of back and forth, But me and my potassium, doing all that fun stuff, and hopefully, I just stay safe. So far, so good, y'all. So far, so good.
Yes, injury-free, please. Definitely want to keep that in mind. So this episode, we're going to be covering the Wolfpack Ninja Tour by popular request. We're not going to cover the whole thing. We're going to take from about the semifinals to the end. Before we get into the details of that, recently announced...
Hold up, before you even do that, I mean, I'm sweating my freaking head off here. I'm sorry, but it is the day before Thanksgiving, y'all. Guess what the temperature was today, Rich?
Oh, San Diego in the fall, 112?
No, but close. Joking. It was 101 degrees.
Was it really? Oh my God.
It's disgusting. It's Thanksgiving, y'all, and it's over 100 degrees out here. I was just so annoyed, and it's still hot. I mean, what is going on? I'm telling you guys, if there is a single listener that doesn't believe in global warming, please come on down to San Diego so I can slap you. It's so hot.
It snowed here the other day, so cry me a river. I think I would take the heat at this point.
Yeah, you say that now. Come on down.
Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, so before we get into Wolfpack, I have to mention that Ultimate Beastmaster is coming back to Netflix December 15th.
Yes! Oh my God, I'm so excited. That is I've been waiting for this all year, Rich. I am giddy. In a way, I don't want to know more about it. I just want it to come. That said, I mean, we're going to keep an eye out, everybody, for news. I have a feeling next week we're going to get a whole lot more details about it. But once again, Rich, give them the details of what we know so far.
We know nothing so far. We know it's coming back December 15th. I think I gave all the details.
Well, that's all we got. But that's actually a lot sooner than most probably imagined.
It's actually a little later. I expected it to start before now, so I was actually getting a little nervous that it was going to run into our regular season coverage of A&W and stuff, like the way it was going. So, no, I'm very happy it's back.
Yeah, I'm happy too, and it sounds like it's coming right in time for that winter break. All schools are out on the week of December 15th. So if you're thinking about that, everybody's getting done with school. And I have a feeling that Ultimate Beastmaster is very, very heavy with the family and teen audience, not to mention college audiences. I don't think it's going to be very as popular with the older audiences. So them knowing the stats, and Netflix only knows the stats, but just how the sport plays and rolls, I have a feeling they were waiting for another break in terms of schooling. And I think that had a heavy influence in it.
Yeah, I mean, they look at all that stuff. They definitely know what they're doing when it comes to release schedules. They know when people are going to want to try to binge watch it all. My one complaint, if you want to call it a complaint about a Beastmaster, is it's terrifying when you're worried about spoilers because everything gets released like in one day. So then you're worried that someone's going to tweet out something that's going to hit your feed. Because we try to cover it over like an extended period, that's a little bit annoying for this particular format because you want to know how the whole thing ends.
Yeah, but I can't complain. That's the Netflix model, and I'm happy that everybody has a chance to binge it. It's just a little annoying for us, but that's one of those things where it's like, let's hope all of our listeners are awesome, and so far you guys are. So
yeah. Oh, speaking of awesome listeners, thank you, Daniel Mount, for setting that in, like cluing us into the fact that it had actually been announced by Netflix. So thank you.
Yeah, huge props.
Yeah. And anybody that gets any more information, let us know. I have tweeted out to Dave Broom, for those that weren't around last season, the creator of Ultimate Beastmaster, along with Sylvester Stallone. Dave Broom actually joined us last season. Very awesome guy. Maybe we'll be able to get him back on the show again.
Yeah, looking forward to that. He's awesome.
So getting into the Wolfpack Ninja Tour. Speaking of awesome, man, I don't know what my expectations were. I knew it would be cool to go see it. I didn't expect the Facebook feed to be as cool as it is.
Oh, like the comments and everything?
Yeah, the comments, the camera angles, the Noah Kaufman's doing the commentary along with Evan Dollard. They did a great job. All the commentary is really good. They had fan cams going. They were getting the audience participation. Like, this is like so legit. It make a beaming smile through the whole thing. I just thought it was great.
Yeah, I completely co-sign. The production values on this whole production was amazing. Infinitely better than even some of the Ninja Warriors that we see. I mean, UK Ninja Warrior is a joke compared to this. And I don't know, it was great just seeing all of the comments, as you said. Before anything else, though, Evan Dollard and Noah Kaufman were so phenomenal as, like, hosts, man. They were so good. Like, I have no complaints about their announcing. They were so enthusiastic. They were so knowledgeable. They really went and, like, played to the narrative of every single run. I mean, they made a huge difference. And that could not be understated enough. I mean, they were truly the kind of like quasi-heroes of this whole thing. And the audience was actually quite fun. There were like two kids at the beginning of each run, like dabbing and stuff, even though I hate dabbing. Like, but they were having fun like at every single like beginning of run. And I don't know, it's really cute seeing that kind of stuff. And yeah, one thing that I will have to like not knock, but I guess suggest to whoever's like doing this whole thing, especially Noah Kaufman, make it easier to find this video. I mean, I had to go to you, Rich, to find it because I was scavenging the internet and I could not find this on YouTube. Really, I honestly couldn't even find it on their website. I'm sure it's available on their website, but it was far too difficult to find this whole feed. And yeah, just having it on Facebook, I don't know about that, guys. There's many other platforms that you can have that on, and just make it a little bit more accessible to everybody watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's still in the very early stages. I definitely would have some suggestions on things that would make it a little bit better here and there as a viewer at home. But overall, I think it looks amazing. If you were going to be there in the audience, I think it would be. You've never seen a ninja competition like this. It is geared towards having an audience, and the rest of it isn't, right? Like, if you go watch A&W, it's great to go watch, but it's not really about the audience, right? You can't hear commentary. There's lots of things that make it clear that it's about filming the TV show. And my guess is that Team Ninja Warrior is very similar to that, right? If you've ever wanted to watch Ninja Warrior with just run after run after run after run, right? We don't have all the preamble that people complain about, all the stories, the backgrounds and stuff from watching the shows. This is it. Like, in the 1 hour, we watched the last hour of this, there was 19 runs. Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And they were all top ninjas. They're all people that you're going to know. You don't really need the stories and everything like that. Like, all these names you're going to pretty much know.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I will ding it for, like I said, I have some suggestions. Most of them are minor. But the one thing is I found it very hard to follow what the race was for, I guess. Like, which part of the bracket they're in at any given time. Like, I don't know. I see, okay, there's two top ninjas, and it took me a second to realize, wait, so it's double elimination. I don't know if Joe's already lost a round or not. Like, I guess if I watched the whole thing from the beginning, I would know a little bit better, but kind of have some context. There were sometimes they would say that this is an elimination round, but it was really, really tough to follow from that perspective. It was just lots of really good runs.
Yeah, fantastic runs and everything, but that would be pretty much my main point also if we were just going, like, getting the negatives out of the way first, which is a visual aid would like hugely benefit this whole thing, because in terms of the context of every single run, you just didn't know the agency of which runner, what their, I guess, current status was. I knew, hey, it's top runner against top runner, but I don't necessarily know what that means for the winner and loser in this bracket. So, yeah, as you said, just having a visual aid, like a visual bracket and everything, that would make a huge difference. And I'm sure it's something they're looking into for next year.
Yeah, they brought it up at one point, so I knew there was one that existed. So if you want to see for yourself how the brackets broke down and kind of follow along, on their website, if you go to the Pro Tour 2.0 results for the men or the women, you can scroll all the way to the bottom. It took me a while to find this. At the very bottom, it actually has a breakdown of the brackets, and you can see, because it's double elimination, there's like a top bracket for everybody that wins, and then if you lost once, you move to the bottom bracket, and then you have to compete all the way to the end to go back up and face the winner at the end. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of runs. It's really, really a lot of runs. I don't know. You can see the exhaustion on people's faces, which I guess is part of it. You can really test somebody's stamina by having them run so many times back to back. Yeah, I'm curious if they'll tweak the format as they go along.
They might. I mean, we definitely saw the most stamina-based ninjas definitely making it to the end, so there's definitely something there to it. But yeah, let's get into the runs, dude. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah. So to kind of lay out the course a little bit before we do that, even. It starts with steps, smaller steps, not like quad steps, but more like the stepping stone size, like pads. It's like a cliffhanger, but it's like towel racks, basically. There's bars there to grab hold of.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. Towel racks. Yeah, I don't even know. You can continue. Yeah.
I think they called them pops.
I have nothing else to say to that, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're called pops. They called them popsicle sticks, I think, or something. Mm-hmm. And then they had, I called them ledge jumps with like book holds. I think they were the books that were in between them. Did that look like it to you?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about like the rock climbing part?
Yeah, it's kind of like a rock climbing part. They got to jump from one.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's kind of like
to the other.
Yeah, it's like hanging platforms, and they've got like rock climbing / book holds to it, and it's more of like a parkour rock climbing combination obstacle. It looks pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't look all that hard, but this you could tell this entire, I guess, course isn't necessarily made for difficulty, but speed.
Yeah, I think it's tweaked perfectly. I think it is exactly the type of course where you can take some risks to catch up. Like, it's everything Team Ninja Warrior should be. It doesn't have any weird little moments where once they're ahead, that you can't catch them, right? I think this is perfectly tailor-made so that if you really want to catch up, you can push it and do it, but you have to keep within a few paces. I like this course a lot for the racing that's happening.
I agree. That said, I do like how Team Ninja Warrior does have some ninja killers also, but I understand some people don't.
So sorry, to finish the rest of the course, we have some UFOs that they have to lâcher like a ridiculous distance across to complete. And then into the warped walls. And the warped walls, they're shorter ones to either side of the main one, so that if you want to, you can run up the small one, but you're going to lose some time by having to climb up the extra ledge to get to the top, which is, I think, a great idea, too.
I love that addition, and I think that's something that Team Ninja Warrior can learn from, because it doesn't break completely the pace. We've seen on a lot of episodes, now I think about it, on Team Ninja Warrior, where some competitors get tired, right? And it no longer is a race against each other, but more so who can get to the top, to the warp, like complete the warped wall, And I think this is a much better addition and modification to it.
Yeah, I kind of like that, so I'm good with either one. I think they're both valid, but yeah. I say, let's actually, all this time we've been talking, well, let's actually get into some of these runs here and talk about what took place. So our coverage is going to begin around just after the 3-hour mark, around 3:05. If you'd like to follow along at home, there is a link in the description. The first run is Thomas Stillings versus Flip Rodriguez. Now, we're kind of covering a little outside the semifinals because I think this run was noteworthy. I actually started even before this, but this is a good spot. So Thomas Stillings, the Genie Ninja, one of our favorites, versus Flip Rodriguez, another one of our favorites. It's a good example of the course. Thomas got hung up on the UFOs, and Flip set the course record on this run. He almost beat the 20-second mark, so he got 20:05, just absolutely tearing it through this course. So it's a good benchmark to set, I thought, for the remaining runs.
Yeah, it is crazy how fast Flip ran through this. But when you say hung up, I mean, it's barely. You just missed like one swing, and it's all over for you.
So let me stress that again. He almost broke 20 seconds on a full, Team Ninja Warrior style course. Like, this is a legit long enough course, and he got it in 20:05. Like, absolutely amazing. And Thomas not that far behind him, right? Like, a difference of a few seconds is a lot on this course.
It's huge. There's no room for error, and I don't know. If there is a run to start with, it's definitely that. That's one of those runs where you just get amped and excited, and you're like, okay, I want to continue.
So next to take the course was Adam Rayl versus Andrew Lowe's.
Let's go, Mr. Lowe's!
It's like, oh, Andy gets a shout out. We get to see him run a course. This is actually awesome. So definitely had to include this one. Adam was just flying the course as he has been for the last couple of years, and Andy fell trying to catch up on the ledges. So it's just one of those things, like, you kind of have to go for broke, right? When you're racing Adam Rayl, there's no slowing down. You just got to go as fast as you possibly can. If you fall, that's just the risk you take.
Yeah, man. It's like, what do you do? You're against Adam Rayl. You just go for broke completely. Like, hurl yourself into those obstacles, because there's no, I don't know. You just can't beat him at his game. He's just too damn good. Yeah, like, Andrew tried, man. He tried.
Yep. A great effort, but unfortunately fell a little short.
Yeah. Who's buffer, do you think? Like Adam Rayl or Andrew Lowe's? Because, Jesus, like, both of them are just ripped to shreds.
They're both ripped, but I'm got to tell you, man, Adam Rayl was the one that I noticed the most in this whole episode. Like, as fast as he is, guy is absolutely huge on top of that.
Yeah. Like, dude's got it all. Must be nice.
Speaking of having it all, next up we had Natalie Duran versus Barclay Stockett. This is the beginning of, like, the semifinals.
Yeah. This is exciting, You get, like, all these big names against each other.
Yeah, it's really cool. And not just big names for big names' sakes. They've all been seeded into this tournament. They've made it through the earlier rounds against the top women that you may not have heard of, right? Ones that have worked their way up from the amateur divisions and other pros.
Yeah, they earned it.
Yeah, 100%. So we can see Natalie versus Barclay. Barclay takes an early lead, but Natalie caught up in the ledges.
Dude, Barclay was so far ahead of Natalie. That's the crazy part, man. Like, when I say Barclay was, I don't know. I think Barclay was a full obstacle ahead of Natalie Duran, and Natalie was catching up at those UFOs. I mean, whoo.
Yeah, Barclay makes a big lâché to seal the deal, though, and ended up winning. Like, absolutely great race. Loved it.
Yeah, good on both. I mean, for me, I always appreciate a whole lot, especially in races like this where there is really no room for error. I mean, Natalie stuck with it and just kept going. Even with Barclay a full obstacle ahead, she kept going fast, and I mean, she almost made that difference.
Yeah, she was fantastic. After that race, we had Rebekah Bonilla versus Tiana Weberly. Again, two big names. To be clear too, I say the semifinals. These are competitors who have lost previously. Both Natalie and Barclay had lost once before, so that meant that Natalie was eliminated by that race.
If you're confused, just know we are equally as confused, y'all.
Yeah, I don't know if I should even specify all these. I'm trying to keep them straight for you. I made notes on everything so that I could go back and sort this out. So Rebekah Bonilla versus Tiana Weberly. They've both lost once, so the loser would be finished. This was an absolutely amazing race. This was probably one of the best of the night.
I mean,
they were neck and neck the whole.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You were just saying it. Sorry, man. They were just neck and neck the whole time. They were like running in sync. It almost felt like the entire race.
Yeah, like it was right down to the wire. And that's the thing. You might have, some of the other competitors going faster here and there, but on these courses, like we're talking, differences of 5-10 seconds. Like it's not huge differences. It's the competition that makes this type of race, right? Team Ninja Warrior, it doesn't matter. When you watch College Ninja Warrior, it doesn't matter who got the fastest time of the night. It is those great matchups where they're evenly paced through the course makes it way more exciting.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know. Rebekah only won by 0.3 seconds, y'all.
Yeah, crazy. So that meant that Tiana was eliminated, unfortunately. So moving over to the men, we had Joe Moravsky versus Thomas Stillings. Like, how great are these matchups? This is also an elimination race, and Thomas pulls ahead midway and ends up beating Joe. Like, Joe Moravsky goes down. Like, a great job by the Genie Ninja.
Dude, it is the Team Ninja Warrior champion. Thomas Stillings just beat. I mean, I love Thomas Stillings. I would have never picked him over Joe Moravsky. I did not see that coming. It was crazy, dude. And it was very close towards the end. Like Joe was a little bit behind, but then he was making ground and it came very close. And I don't know, this is a run that you guys need to see just because this is one of those runs where the story does matter. And man, Joe gave it his all, and it was so freaking close. But major props to Thomas Stillings. I mean, what a young gun, just killing it once again. Just, I don't know. He is, like, is there anybody rising more up the ranks than Thomas Stillings, dude? Maybe Najee, but that's got to be it. I mean, I kind of see Daniel Gill's already up there, but in terms of, like, some of the more newer peoples, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I had Thomas on my team last year, and he will be on my team again next year. I really feel like he's, one good run away from solidifying himself right at that top.
I mean, I can't argue that, dude. Thomas just keeps, like amazing more and more. And I think him having his own training facility makes a major difference. But not just that, he has that component of speed.
And also one of the nicest guys you could ever talk to.
Well, that too.
Next up was Andrew Lowe's versus Daniel Gill, another elimination round. Who was your pick going into this one, Andy Lowe's or Daniel Gill?
I mean, I love Andy, but it's going to be Daniel Gill. Come on, man.
Kind of had to be. We had some spoilers, I guess, too, right? We already knew who kind of came out on top.
Is it sad I didn't remember that? But, yeah, good point. I mean, it's Daniel Gill. He's known just like Thomas Stillings for his speed. Andrew Lowe's is very fast, but Andrew Lowe's has a component of power also, and I feel like Andrew Lowe's is more built for other types of courses.
Yeah, unfortunately, Andy fell on the same ledge that he did last time, I believe. It looked like that.
Oh, good point. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So Daniel ended up winning the race, eliminating Andy at that point. So moving back over to the women, we had Barclay Stockett versus Rebekah Bonilla. Barclay messed up on the cliffhanger type obstacle at the beginning, but then started catching up and ended up falling. Unfortunately, didn't really catch it very well when she fell, so I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Me neither. But major props to Rebekah Bonilla because I don't know. I had Barclay the whole way on this one. I was like, man, like Rebekah Bonilla, man, she was fast, but I guess the better way of explaining how she ran this entire, this whole series is she was consistent. It was kind of like Joe Moravsky, where you don't really appreciate the speed because technically she is just so efficient in everything that she did.
Yeah, she was really good. She's really solid and someone we have to keep an eye on. We've mentioned that a few times. I hope are remembering it. The more we mention the name, I'm hoping it's drilling in everybody's brains because when A&W rolls around again, that's a name you want to watch for. So Rebekah Bonilla. Fantastic. And beat Barclay. But next to take the course is really, to me, like Olivia Vivian totally stole my heart in this whole thing.
Her.
She is amazing.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I don't know. It's she's such a good racer, but I have to say she is so charismatic, even outside of running. I don't think there was a competitor that played to the crowd more than her, and she was just so fun.
Yeah, and for those that don't remember, we have mentioned her before because she was on Australian Ninja Warrior. And she was going up against Meagan Martin here, but she got lots of screen time because when there were some delays were here and there, they're giving people a couple minutes to rest, and they would play some dance music and they cut to the crowd, which, by the way, they did a fantastic job of trying to keep everybody entertained during those little lulls. But Olivia's over there dancing at the starting line, and she's like totally into it. Very, very charismatic and incredibly strong on the course.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. She's racing against Meagan Martin, and in many ways, Olivia came off as the bigger star going into that run. She just knew exactly how to play to the crowd, like almost get all the spotlight on her, and Meagan Martin's just on the side getting chalked up. So just think about that. It's Meagan Martin, one of the most recognizable ninjas in the entire sport, and there's just somebody just brimming with charisma off next to her. So it was a really cool dynamic. I think Olivia is just amazing, and it makes me want to watch her on Australian Ninja Warrior just so much more. I think she is probably huge in that country.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back and watch some of her runs on YouTube if I don't end up watching the whole series completely.
Yeah, you think she's going to be able to compete in ANW?
I don't know.
I mean, we had Adam Waring just last week, and he was able to compete in ANW and Australian Ninja Warrior. So there is a precedent for it happening, but I think it has everything to do with just citizenship and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's citizenship or just residence, maybe, because Adam had moved to the U.S., right? So
yeah,
I don't think Olivia's actually done that, but I could be wrong. So we'll see. If anybody knows, that would be really interesting to see. I'd be interested to see if she's running any of the NNL competitions as well.
Good point.
But yeah, as great as she was, Meagan dominated. She had a good time. Olivia had a good time against anybody else except Meagan Martin. Meagan just was phenomenal.
Yeah, why don't we send this video over to Chris Wilczewski? Get him a little caught up on Meagan Martin.
Yeah, maybe that's what he needed. Maybe, we need to send him a few more videos of how great Meagan is. But next to take the course was Thomas Stillings and Daniel Gill. The classic matchup happened.
It's happening, y'all. Oh, man. I mean, it just brings back all of the fun races and the semi-fun, lighthearted rivalry that they had 2 seasons ago. Who'd you have going into this?
Only because I was aware of the results. I was pretty sure
yeah.
Daniel took it, but...
Dude, actually, going into this, I had Thomas Stillings going into it because I just saw Thomas Stillings beat Joe Moravsky, and he was on a roll at this point. But yeah, Daniel Gill flew through this course. It's one thing to be very precise and everything, but any jumping transition obstacle, he did it with complete ease. It was almost like he was flying through the air. I mean, Najee may have the Phoenix thing, but Daniel Gill is coming up with that. Like, this guy was just flying through this. And I don't know, Daniel Gill just completely shocked me. What a brilliant, amazing run. Like, Thomas Stillings has nothing to be sad about because he did phenomenal himself. He was just competing against somebody else just amazing in this one instance.
Well, here's the thing. So Thomas made a mistake early on the course. Like, I mean, a small mistake, but that's all it takes, right? And had to make some huge moves. Like, he did amazingly well, considering Daniel almost beat the course record. He didn't quite beat Flip's time, but he was darn close. Like, another 20-second run. Like, they're running these courses over and over again, and their exhaustion isn't catching up with them. They're actually getting faster as the night wears on. Like, it's absolutely crazy because they didn't have any, it's noted later by Evan $1 that, they didn't have any 20-second runs earlier in the day in the quarterfinals, but by the end of it, there's a few of them all hitting around the 20-second mark.
Mm-hmm.
So that race between Thomas and Daniel was the second loss for Thomas. That meant that he was eliminated. Daniel was still in the running. Moving to the winner's bracket, we had Flip Rodriguez versus Adam Rayl.
Oh, boy.
So Flip makes a small mistake at the beginning, and that's all you need to hear when Adam Rayl is on the course against you, right? One small mistake, and it is over.
Yeah, Adam Rayl, I mean, he just shades of Joe Moravsky. I don't know. Picture perfect, super fast. But there's differences and minute differences to their strengths. Whereas where Daniel Gill is very fast with his aerial transitions, I've noticed that Adam Rayl is incredibly fast at his running, kind of like you'd expect from Flip Rodriguez. Flip Rodriguez is also very quick with the transitions. But Adam Rayl, when he actually lands his feet and is running from one obstacle to the next, the way he explodes off of his feet gives him a leg up on his contemporaries. And that's really the key to how fast he is. So, very interesting.
Yeah, he's got that's a great point, because now that you say that, I can picture it perfectly. He has just an amazing running speed. He's just very, very fast at running itself. Not, as quick as he is in the obstacles, he really seems to open it up when he has a chance to, stretch out his legs.
Yeah, because in this particular race against Flip Rodriguez, they were pretty much at the same speed when it came to the obstacles, which is very, very fast. I mean, don't get me wrong. Right. Adam Rayl and Flip Rodriguez are fast in all components. But when we have to break it down to the minute details, I've noticed that they were going very, very fast through all these obstacles, pretty much at the same speed. But as soon as both of them landed on the ground and they had to run to the next obstacle, Adam Rayl just blew past Flip Rodriguez. And Flip Rodriguez is not a slow guy by any stretch of the imagination. So just imagine this guy. If we're talking car power terms, this dude's got amazing acceleration. 0 to 60 and none.
He's the new Tesla.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Next to take the course is Olivia Vivian versus Rebekah Bonilla. They have both lost one, so whoever loses this time will be going home. Olivia had a slight lead through the beginning, and Rebekah ended up falling on the UFOs. Olivia ended up collapsing in mock exhaustion at the buzzer, just completely spent.
Yeah, with that said, I mean, she did very well, and she had one of the fastest runs of the night for the women. I mean, props to her. Just once again, star in the making, dude.
Yeah, endlessly entertaining. Great run. And this is where they had a little dance break. They had to let Flip rest because they're going back to back to back at this point, and they just basically took a few minutes. If you're skimming along, you have a little gap here, but you might want to watch it anyway because it's kind of cute.
It's very fun, especially watching all the kids dance and everything else. It's very shades of basketball games and how they have the dance parties and the kiss cams and stuff like that. They're having a lot of fun with the audience. But also, I must say, I wholeheartedly agree with the component of we're getting down to the most important runs. Give them an extended break. I'm very down with that.
Yeah. So when it came back, it was Daniel Gill versus Flip Rodriguez.
By the way, I just realized when we're saying extended break, people are probably oh, good 10, 15 minutes. What was this, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Something like that, yeah. It wasn't that long. It was just okay, go, go just get your head straight because you're going to be back on the course in a couple seconds.
These poor guys, man. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah. Can you imagine, you only have a couple minutes to rest and then you got to go to race Daniel Gill? Yeah, no problem.
No, I can't. I'd be nope. I'll probably just jump in off of the first obstacle. I'm I'm done.
So Daniel Gill versus Flip Rodriguez to see who would be facing Adam Rayl in the final. I didn't see this coming. As much as I kind of knew the results, I really didn't see Daniel falling at the beginning of the course on the cliffhanger popsicle stick things.
How crazy is that? I mean, it's one of those things where you just got to go for broke. And I don't know. I really had Daniel Gill on this one because I think it has to do with the fact that I just saw Flip Rodriguez run against Adam Rayl. And I haven't seen Daniel in that position yet. And Daniel has been so incredibly powerful, of all things, in the aerial transitions. And sure enough, it's an aerial transition that he falls at. I think it's one of those things where you're so comfortable, you overlook an obstacle. And unfortunately, I think that's what happened here.
It was a nice little surprise for me, I guess, because I was aware of most of the results. It wasn't too surprising. That took me by surprise. And so did the next race.
It took the audience by the surprise.
Yeah,
That's another cool part, man. They had the audience reactions, and we had, like, literally people with their hands over their heads, people covering their mouths. Like, people were shocked.
And I was shocked on the next run. I got to say, probably my favorite run of this whole thing was the Olivia and Vivian versus Meagan Martin for the final.
So this is for the championship spot, right?
Right. So Olivia's already, it's weird because Olivia's already lost once though, right? So in order for her to win, she has to beat Meagan twice because Meagan hasn't lost at all. It's just the way it works out. So
okay.
Olivia had gone down to the loser's bracket, had beaten everybody else there to get a chance at Meagan again. So she squares off with Meagan and takes an early lead. She was the first
big early lead, man.
Yes, was the first one of the UFOs, and she won the heat. I was losing my mind. I'm like, wait, what? She beat her? Like, oh my god! Like they have to do another race.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. And you know, I'm cool with it because it at least accentuates some importance for the earlier runs.
Yeah, it's a standard double elimination. But when you don't have the brackets in front of you, it's really hard to follow. So going back and looking at how it all broke out, it made way more sense to me. So I do encourage you to look at the brackets to kind of follow along as you're watching the whole thing.
That said, Olivia beat Meagan Martin by quite a wide margin.
Yeah, and that never happens. Like, that's very, very unusual.
Mm-hmm. But hey, maybe that was Meagan. Maybe Meagan Martin thought that was a good idea. That Olivia's going to have to go for broke, completely expel all of her energy, maybe get an adrenaline dump, just go for broke. And Meagan Martin can, go a little bit lax and conserve her energy. I don't know because they're still going so incredibly fast, but maybe that's what happened? I don't know. I'm not in Megan's head.
Yeah, I can't see Meagan doing anything except her best, to be honest, like just going flat out. But
yeah, well,
who knows? But the next race we saw, they had a little break because Flip Rodriguez versus Adam Rayl in the finale.
In the finale, y'all. This is for the champ.
Yes. And you'd think it would be just kind of like, it'd be a great race and everything, but you already know, I kind of already knew Adam won because we talked about it last week. But Adam broke 20 seconds. He shattered the record on the course after running all these other times. The final run of the night, he does it in 19.2 seconds.
Yep. He waited till the very end to do the absolute best. And not only that, he beat the record of the guy he's facing. Dope.
Unbelievable.
Not just that, I don't think Flip actually finished, did he? They didn't really show it, but I don't know if Flip just stopped running once he saw that Adam hit the buzzer or if he fell, but they just showed Adam just sitting there and nothing else happens. You don't see Flip. So I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I was probably screaming at the screen at that point because I couldn't believe he actually broke 20 seconds and broke it by a lot.
Yeah. I mean, later on, though, they kind of do a rerun and then you see Flip Rodriguez at the top of the warped wall congratulating him. So maybe he did. Maybe something just happened. I don't know.
So then moving back to the women for the final match up between Meagan Martin and Olivia Vivian.
Vivian dancing, feeling good.
Yes, that's one of her best dance breaks right there. And they were in a perfect tie through the middle of the course when they got to the ledges. But Meagan pulled ahead and just tore through the second half. She won. I think that was the fastest time for a female that I saw. I didn't keep perfect track of it, and they didn't note it from the commentary, but that was a really fast time.
Yeah, she had 31.6, dude, and I can't think of a run that was faster than her off the top of my head. I mean, they both did phenomenal, and just major props to Meagan Martin. She was kind of like Adam Rayl. I mean, she turned on the jets at the right perfect time.
So yeah, checking on the Wolfpack website, I can see Meagan's time at 31.6 is the fastest time for any of the women.
I love it. They earned it.
Yeah. So both of them put down their fastest time of the night and the fastest time for anyone in their division on that last run, like putting it all on the table and getting it done in the end. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great, man. And just huge props to everybody involved. I mean, Olivia was great. Flipper was great. And major props to Adam Rayl. I mean, he is just so amazing. Every time we see him in all these types of competitions, he is just blowing past the competition. I don't know, man. I really feel like we're seeing the next American Ninja Warrior. I really also feel like if Jeff Britton comes back, he's going to be a 2-time winner. That's another story. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds for him. And Meagan Martin, I mean, if there's somebody that really, I guess, surprised others, kind of like Chris Wilczewski, but also, honestly, me too. Because I gotta say, Meagan Martin has been amazing, but I never thought of her as the fastest of the female competitors. And man, did she prove a lot today. I mean, major props to her also. This was all phenomenal. Really fun races. I very much suggest anybody that hasn't seen it yet, get to the semifinals on this video, watch them. You will not have a bad time. You will have so much fun, and it goes by so quickly.
Yep, it's great stuff. Highly recommend you check it out. I hope they're going to be doing this on the rest of the tour dates, and hoping they actually get to one of these, because I have to say, of all of the ninja competitions I've seen, this is the one I want to see. This is the type of competition that I want to be at and witness firsthand.
Mm-hmm. It's very, I guess, audience friendly. We've got nice stands, nice seating. The ninjas are very open with everybody around the arena. It's visually, like, you can see the entire course. It's just a very, very good scene. So props to everybody involved with that. Not just that. I mean, the production is just top notch. So it was really, really impressive. And I'm very, very curious if A&W Experience will be able to match this. We know that A&W Experience will have similar type of competitions at the two events where it will be taking place in an arena. I mean, the ball's in their court now. They have to match Wolfpack Ninja Tour. And Wolfpack Ninja Tour, man, they came to play. They're doing a great job.
So that is it for this week. Thank you all for listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Twitter and Instagram. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace and love, y'all. Gobble, gobble.